these multi-benefit society, cooperative society that accept deposit from their member are not covered as a bank. Please remember this, right? The deposit, right? Deposit that bank will be using for the other purposes, right? But that deposit actually, right? That deposit is actually, right? It will be from the normal public, from the general public only. Okay, so normally acceptance of deposit should be in the form of money, right? Now here, what is the company, right? What is the definition of company according to the Indian Company Act 1956 and the new act Company 2013, right? According to, right, that can be the bank, a banker, or banking company. Okay, so according to 5C of BR Act, banking company means any company who transact the business in India. So there are all these categories like bank, banker, banking company, all are comes into the category of bank. So according to the 5C of BR, 7.1 of BR, 7.2 of BR, 7.2 gives the definition of banking, that is. Okay, so according to the 5C, right, the 5C is banking company means any company that transact the business of banking in the India. 7.1 section, it gives the meaning of banker or banking or banking company. Okay, other than a banking company. So 7.2 is what? 7.2 normally prohibit use of such word. Okay, so if you are using these kind of words and you are not the, right, and you are not the, okay, one second, this is 5B. Okay, not, sorry, this is 5C, right? 5C, that is. 5B is giving the definition of banking, but 5C giving the definition of banking company. This is the difference. Okay, section 5B giving the definition of banking, not banking company, but section 5C is giving the definition of banking company. So if any bank, they can use this kind of word, but apart from that, any other individual or firm, they cannot use these words bank, banker, or banking company. Okay, like State Bank of India, Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, they all are doing the bank business, right? But if any other company, they cannot use, right? They cannot use these, all these three words, bank, banker, and banking company, because they have to be registered as a bank otherwise. Okay, if they want to be, right, then in that case they have to be registered in the bank. Okay, as a bank. So normally any company, they cannot use these type of words. Okay, and money lender, who all are the money lender? Who are giving the money, like Mahajan, Sahukar, Shetties, normally they are not banker, even they are not bank or banker. Okay, so any lender, every lender, I mean, they are not banker actually, although bank is also the money lender, but it does not mean that every money lender is the banker. Okay na? So Mahajan, Sahukar, Shetties, they are not the banker actually. Okay, they are lending the money, but they are not the banker, they are not the banking company, right? So normally in this, in the case of Kadrisan Kshatriyar versus Ramanatham Shettyar, it was held that while a money lender lends his own money, a banker lends money of his customer and depositor. So this is the difference. Okay, both are lending the money, the money lender, right, and the bank, but there is a difference actually. The money lender, normally he lend his own money. Okay, he is using his own money, but bank, they are using the money of the customer for lending. Okay, so bank actually taking the deposit from customer and giving that deposit as a loan to another customer. ठीक है. But money lender actually they are using their own money. They are not using the other. They are not using the other customers' money. They are actually using their own money, like Mahajan, Sahukar, Shettis normally. ठीक है. Then accepting deposit from the public. Right. So what is the meaning of accepting deposit from public? Right. See, 1 second. Huh? Right. So what is the meaning of accepting deposit of money from public? ठीक है. So every institution carrying out the business of banking, right, must accept the deposit of money from the public, should not confine to the deposit from its member only. This is the meaning of bank. ठीक है. Bank normally they won't use their own money, they use actually the customer money, ठीक है, for the lending purpose, right? So this is the difference between the normal money lender and the bank. ठीक है. This is the actually major difference between any money lender versus bank. ठीक है. चलिए now, right, now next is in the case entitled, there was one case of Mahalakshmi Bank Limited versus Registrar of Company. It was decided that if a company gave loan to the public but did not accept deposit from the public, it is not the banking company under section 5 of BR Act. So please remember that if any company giving loan to the public, for example NBFCs, ठीक है, but they did not take the deposit, right, from the public, they are not the banking company in that case. ठीक है. Even they are giving the loan to the normal public. So there is another difference between the NBFC versus bank. NBFC is not bank. ठीक है. They are the companies actually. So if any company even they are giving the loan to the public but they are not accepting the deposit from the public, that means they are not the bank. ठीक है. Like NBFC. Acceptance for the lending or investment. If any institution they are accepting deposit of money without the purpose of lending and investment, they are even not the bank. ठीक है. They are even not the bank. So this is the major difference actually, right? So the basic purpose of bank is what? Taking deposit and invest that money into the lending or the investment. This is the major difference, right? They are taking the deposit from public but apart from that they are lending to the normal public. So even if any institution they are accepting the deposit but they are not lending the money, they are not investing that money, they are also not a bank. ठीक है. So both the terms are correct. If they are taking the deposit but not lending, even if they are lending but not deposit, so in both the cases the company is not a bank. ठीक है. So please remember that in that case company is not a bank, right? Now there is another point, deposit repayable to the depositor on demand or otherwise. So deposit of money may be repayable either on demand or if they are term deposit on the expiry of stipulated term or period. ठीक है. So if any, right, so deposit repayable to the deposit on demand. So bank actually whenever the depositor will ask for his money on demand, bank has to give. ठीक है. Bank have to give them, right? And deposit may be withdrawal by customer, maybe by check, maybe by draft, maybe by order or maybe by withdrawal slip also. ठीक है. So this is the difference. Now what is the bank are also authorized to carry out the certain transaction. Now this is the section 6 of BR Act. So please remember, there are, apart from the depositing the money, apart from the lending and investment, there are some other services also which normally bank provide. ठीक है. Now in the upcoming chapter, we will cover all these things like discounting the bill, collecting of check and bill, remittance, safe custody of article, hiring the locker, conducting foreign exchange transaction, conducting government transaction, government business, that is, issuing LC and guarantee. So all these services also provided by the bank, apart from the basic service, which is depositing the money and the lending and investment. Tell me if any doubt is there. So all these services, that is discounting of bill, collection of check, these all topic we are going to cover in the separate chapter in module A. Now tell me, any doubt is there till this point of time? Any doubt? We have covered here that what all kind of services normally bank provide apart from the normal deposit and the lending and investment. Okay, these are the basic services: depositing the money and lending that money to the another customer, lending and investment. Okay, but there are other services also which normally bank provide. So beside, bank nowadays also undertake, apart from all these, there are some other services also. This actually we will cover in module B. Okay, these services we are going to cover in module B, and these services we are going to cover in, that is, module A, right? So यहाँ पर ऑप्शन ए, दैट इज वेल्थ मैनेजमेंट, then project appraisal, sale of third party, life insurance, executive trustee, acceptance of central and government taxes, GST, franking of stamp duty on documents, security trading, factoring, venture capital financing, DMAT, all these services. So these chapter actually we are going to cover in the module B, that is. Understood? So in module A, we will cover the like discounting of bill, all these basic services. Okay? But there are some additional services also, like opening the DMAT, factoring, security trading, project appraisal, sale of third party product like mutual fund. All these we are going to cover in the module B, that is. ठीक है, यहाँ पर फिलहाल you have to remember that these are the additional services which normally bank have to carry out. They are authorized to carry out actually, apart from their basic service like depositing, lending and investment. ठीक है. Then now what is the definition of customer? So actually, before understanding what is the relationship between the banker and customer, first of all, please understand that what is the meaning of customer. Okay, so definition of customer, definitely it is not defined in any law, but yes, RBI has defined the definition of customer. Otherwise, the definition of customer is not defined in any law. ठीक है ना? It is not defined in any law, but according to the according to the RBI, they have defined the definition of. Okay, now what is the meaning of customer, right? So normally customer is what, in a general term, it is actually the person who opened the account in the bank. He is normally the customer. This is a layman language definition. ठीक है. Now according to the whatever legal judgment passed, ठीक है, there was one definition according to the Sir John Paget view, that is, what is the meaning of customer? To constitute a customer, there must be some recognizable course or habit of dealing in the nature of regular banking business. So it is actually the person who normally deal with the regular banking business like depositing, lending, they are availing all these services. ठीक है ना? That is the customer actually who are availing all these services. ठीक है. Now, for the purpose of KYC, RBI has defined the customer as a what? Customer is actually a person that maintain the account and having the business relationship with, because they are conducting the transaction with the bank. Okay. So according to the, right, this is the definition of bank. Now, one on whose behalf the account is maintained or transaction is conducted, that is the person is beneficial owner. So please remember the definition of beneficial owner. This is given in prevention PMLA Act, Prevention of Money Laundering, Section 2E, right? So this is actually the beneficial owner actually, right? That means, what is the meaning of beneficial owner? The beneficial owner is actually an individual who ultimately owns or control a client of a reporting entity, or the person on whose behalf a transaction is being conducted. Okay. So who is the beneficial owner? Who actually ultimately owns. Suppose I am the customer of PNB, but I have given my power of attorney to my son. Okay. But I am the beneficial owner actually. Okay. So who's the beneficial owner? Beneficial owner is who ultimately owns or control a client of a reporting entity on whose behalf a transaction is being conducted. So in that case, my son is not the customer of PNB. I am the beneficial owner. He is not the beneficial owner actually, right? So this is the difference actually. What is the meaning of beneficial owner? The beneficial owner is actually the person who is enjoying the benefit of ownership. Okay. Even on behalf of me, my son is handling my account, but I am the beneficial owner actually. I am having the ownership of my account. Okay. I have given the power of attorney to my son, or maybe I have given some power of attorney to some trust and all, but I am the beneficial owner here. Okay. That means a person who ultimately owns or control. Okay. Who is having actually the control, that person is the beneficial owner. Okay. Who is having the ultimate effective control over a judicial person. Okay. So beneficiary of transaction conducted by normally, okay, suppose I am the person and my transaction can be conducted by stockbroker, CAs, right, solicitor, but a person or entity connected with a financial transaction which can pose significant reputational or other risk to the bank, say a wire transfer or issue the high value DD as a single transaction. Okay. So that means, what is the meaning of this? Okay. A person or entity connected with a financial transaction which can pose the significant reputational or other risk to the bank. That means we are the customer and we are conducting the single transaction in the bank. Okay. So according to the PMLA Act 2022, 2022, what is the meaning of client? One second. Huh? right? So according to the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, what is the meaning of client? ठीक है, client is what? Client is actually the person who is engaged in a financial transaction or activity with a reporting entity, and include a person on whose behalf the person who engaged in the transaction or activity is acting. ठीक है, that means what is the meaning of client? Actually, the client is who is engaged in the financial transaction with a reporting entity, right? And include a person on whose behalf the person who engaged in the transaction or activity is acting. ठीक है, I am going to elaborate this part. First of all, ठीक है, now what is the meaning of customer? I'll explain. ठीक है, what is the meaning of client? A customer of a bank need not necessarily be a natural person. A firm, joint stock, society, they all even can the customer. ठीक है ना? So please remember, it is not necessary that only the person can become the customer. Even society, joint stock company, any legal entity, any partnership firm, they can also be the customer. ठीक है, so according to section 45Z of BR Act, customer include a government department and even the corporation. ठीक है, so customer means that is just not the individual person, that can be the society, that can be the government department, that can be the corporation, that can be the joint stock company, that can be the any separate legal entity. ठीक है, now, what is the meaning of client? What is actually the client is, right? So, according to the PMLA Act, ठीक है, what is the meaning of client? That is, see, the client means a person who is engaged in the financial transaction, ठीक है, or activity with a reporting entity. So, that is normally a person whose behalf the person who engaged in the transaction or activity. ठीक है, that means I am the client of PNB bank and behalf of me, ठीक है, on behalf of me there is one person who is conducting, ठीक है, who is conducting my transaction on behalf of me, that is, ठीक है. So there is a meaning of client is what? So this is the difference between the customer and client. ठीक है, the client is what? Client is actually, ठीक है, that is the person, right, normally who engaged in the financial transaction or activity, or include a person on whose behalf on whose behalf right? So the client is actually, that is the person on whose behalf the person who engaged in the transaction or activity is acting, that is, okay. Now the next is, now there are some different type of relationship which we normally going to cover. There is a first relationship is now debtor and creditor. Then the second relationship we are going to cover here, that is the creditor and debtor. This is the second relationship. Then the third relationship is trustee, that is, okay, bank as a trustee. One second, huh? Right? So this is the third relationship when bank act as a trustee. Okay. Now this is the fourth relationship, bailee and bailer, right? Then the fifth relationship is agent and principal relationship, right? Then the sixth relationship is laser and lazy. All we are going to cover here. Okay. Then seventh is indemnifier and indemnified. So this is the relationship which we have to cover. ठीक है. First, deposit in bank in case of loan from bank, safe custody, locker, collection of check, purchase of draft, pay of draft, pledge, mortgage case, standing instruction, sale and purchase, money deposited, article left by mistake, share given, and hypothecation. All these relationship. Now, between the bank and customer, the relationship will be stabilized. Then what type of services we are availing from the bank? If I am availing the services of deposit from the bank, then I am the creditor and bank is the debtor. If I am taking the services from bank for loan, that means, right, that means the bank will be creditor and I am the debtor. Okay, so all these we are going to cover now. So now going back again, this is your chapter 1. That is your chapter 1. Okay, now the actual chapter begins from here. Okay, this is the actual chapter is here. This is your chapter number 1. Chapter number 1. Yesterday only I have started this batch, PPB batch, right? And this is your class 2 chapter 1. Yesterday I have taken the orientation of the class, right? And today I am going to take your chapter number 1. So this I have already started yesterday, right? Chali. Now, if you are depositing the money, this is the first transaction, first relationship between the bank and the customer. Suppose I am having the 1 lakh rupees with me and I am depositing that money with the bank. That means that I am became the creditor here because I am credit my money and bank will be the debtor now. Okay? This is the first relationship in case of simple deposit. Simple deposit we are talking about. The first relationship, if any customer they are depositing with the money with the bank, that means customer will be the lender, means creditor here. Okay, customer will be the creditor. Now bank will be the borrower, debtor. Okay, and money is actually handed over to bank as a debt, as a debt. Okay, so the main feature of this relationship is what? Bank is actually free now. They can use that money, right? Maybe they can use that money into the any stock, any secondary market, primary. They can use wherever they want to. Now they are free to use that money. Okay? But there is one condition. Whenever customer asking the asking that money back, bank have to pay that money. Okay? So customer should make a demand of a payment. He should make a demand. Then bank have to pay. Otherwise, voluntary, bank will not. Definitely. But if customer is demanding, suppose I am demanding my 1 lakh back after 2 months, that means bank have to give that money to me. That they have to give that money back to me. Right? So that is actually the basic relationship between the bank and the customer. Here I am depositing the money. That means I am the creditor and bank is the debtor because that money is having with bank only. Okay, understood? Tell me, understood what is the meaning of first relationship? That is debtor and creditor. Please don't try to mug up all these things. Just try to understand the things. Okay, tell me, any doubt is there till this point of time? First relationship understood? Debtor and creditor. So here actually the bank is debtor and the customer is creditor now. Clear? Now the second relationship is, right, first we will complete this. So here actually in this relationship the demand, that demand can be made maybe by check, maybe by withdrawal form, maybe by draft, or maybe by order or otherwise during the working hours. So if when I'm asking my money back from the bank, bank have to pay that money. Okay, so here actually creditor, they does not have any security from the debtor. Okay, but in case of loan actually we are giving the security. In that case actually I am the debtor now. Customer is the debtor. In the case of loan, customer will be the debtor. and for that loan actually customer is depositing the security also. But in this case bank is not giving any security, they are not giving. Okay, so law of limitation does not begin to run until a demand has been made for repayment in both demand and fixed deposit. Suppose I have opened the fixed deposit for 1 year. Okay, even I can ask my money before 1 year also, but I have to ask. Okay, I have to give my demand. So of course, what is the meaning of law of limitation here? See, in case of bank, there is a one concept which we call normally as a law of limitation. Okay, so what is the meaning of law of limitation? That means here actually, okay, bank, the customer, they cannot file any litigation, they cannot take any litigation actually. Okay, because here actually the, that means this law, the law of limitation is not going to apply. Okay, because when I'm asking my money, then bank is giving me. Okay na, right? So until a demand, this is the word specify here, until a demand, that means the law of limitation is not there. But in case of loan, yes, it is there. If you are not paying the EMI, right, if you are not paying the your EMI on the time, then definitely this law of limitation will apply. But the, in this case the law of limitation will not apply. Okay, customer cannot take any legal action, right? Because the reason is here is that is actually, okay, okay. But yes, if demand is there, if I have made the demand, I am the customer, then bank have to pay, then this law of limitation will be applied. Okay, right? Now the second relationship, that is creditor and debtor in case of advances loan. Okay, this is the second relationship. Now what happening in this relationship actually, now this is opposite, exactly opposite. Now bank is giving me the money. Okay, na? I have asked 1 lakh from the bank and they are giving money to me. So now in that case, I am the borrower, I am the debtor now, and bank is the creditor now. Okay, this is exactly opposite. Now I am asking the money from the bank, right? The resource mobilized by bank are utilized for lending operation. Customer normally who borrow money from bank owes money to the bank. Okay. In the case of any loan, any advance, if you are borrowing the money, you have to give that money back to the bank, right? So here actually bank is creditor and I am the debtor, right? Borrower have to execute the document and they have to offer the security before taking the credit facility. If I am enjoying the credit facility, okay, from the bank, right? If I am enjoying the, right, credit facility from the bank, now what happening in that case, bank have to that means bank will take the security from my side. Maybe they will take my house as a mortgage. Okay, maybe they will keep my RC, like all the loans they are keeping some security before I'm enjoying the credit facility here. Okay, see, the limitation means restriction. Nidhi, the law of limitation means that is actually the restriction. Okay, restriction means, see, we have used this word here. Law of limitation means there is no restriction. Okay, until the demand will be there, right? See, I have given my money to the bank. That means law of limitation is not applied. Okay, till that point of time. But law of limitation means there is not any kind of limitation on any type of rule is there. Okay, strict time limit is not there that bank have to pay that money in 5 year or 4 year to me. There is no that is kind of restriction of limitation. But if I have made a demand from the bank that I want to take my 1 lakh rupees back, then the law of limitation, then the restriction begin. Bank have to repay that money to me. Okay? So in normal course, there is no need to give that money to back to the customer. Okay? No restriction. Suppose I have deposited my money in the January. Okay? That means there is no restriction that bank have to give that money back to me after 1 year or after 8 months or after 2 months or after 5 months. But when I'm asking that money, I'm withdrawing my money, I'm asking my money back as a demand, maybe by check or maybe by order or maybe by withdrawal slip, then bank have to give me back. Okay? Then law of limitation will arise. Otherwise, there is no restriction will be there. Law of limitation means restrictions. Okay? That is a restriction actually. Okay? Normally, see law of limitation, that is the time limit normally, right? When the person can approach the bank. Okay? There is no limitation that bank have to give that money back to me after 5 months, after 6 months, after 7 months. It is not like that, right? But whenever I'm asking that money, I'm demanding that money, they have to give me back. Then law of limitation will arise. Otherwise, no scope of law of limitation. No restriction is there. Then bank have to give that money to me. Understood now? What is the meaning of law of limitation? Please tell me. Law of limitation is actually the restriction. Okay? It is a time limit which allow the person that they can approach the court, right? So there is no law of restriction is there. Bank is not bind actually here that they have to give that money back to me. But if I'm asking that money, yes, they have to give me. Okay, na? So please remember this point. Now, right? So this is the second relationship. When I'm asking the money from bank, I'm taking the advance. Then I am the debtor here and bank is the creditor here. Okay? Right? So in addition, these two activity, bank also undertake other mention activity which we have mentioned in section 6. Now we will define that on the basis of now other services, now bank will be act as a bailee, as a trustee, as a principal, as a agent, as a lessor, as a custodian. Okay? These two previous two actually based on the basic services which normally bank provide, that is deposit and lending. Now there are other services which we have already covered in section 6 like deposit, okay, locker, safe deposit locker is there, safe custody of the article, paying the check. All these now we are going to cover in the upcoming relationship. Now there is a third relationship when bank will be the trustee, okay, and the customer will be the beneficiary. Okay, beneficiary. Now what is the meaning of trustee actually? See, trustee is the person normally or a firm who hold or administrator your property or asset for benefit of the third party. So on behalf of me, I am the customer, on behalf of me, bank actually holding my property, they are doing the administration of my property. Okay, so I am the beneficiary. Beneficiary means I am the ultimate owner of my property or asset. But bank, they are just doing the administration. They are just holding, managing. You can say this like as a managing. Okay, they are just managing actually, right? So trustees are required to make decision in the beneficiary's best interest and have a fiduciary relationship to them. Now, what is the meaning of fiduciary relationship? Trustees are required to make the decision in beneficiary's best interest. Okay, I am the customer and I am the, okay, I am the beneficiary. So bank have to act, right, for my interest, for my best interest. So definitely there is a fiduciary relationship between them. Okay. Now what is the meaning of this type of relationship? That means when actually one person, right, they are managing your property for benefit of you. Okay. So as a trustee, they are enjoying some right, they are enjoying some power. So there is a fiduciary relationship between the two party. That means where one party is acting on behalf of other party. Understood na? What is the meaning of fiduciary relationship? Here actually bank is acting on behalf of me. Okay? But for my best interest. They are managing my property, they are managing my interest, but they are acting in the best interest. That means they are, वो मेरे हित में काम कर रहे हैं. ठीक है? If you can understand the Hindi, that is actually for the hit, in best interest, that is. Okay. So if customer keep certain valuable or security with the bank for safekeeping or deposit a certain amount of money for a specific purpose, the banker, beside becoming a bailee, is also the trustee. Okay. So now what happened here is, if I am the customer, I am keeping my valuable security with the bank. Okay. I am depositing my certain amount of money for a specific purpose with the bank. In that relationship, bailee bailer, we will understand in the upcoming slide. But in that case, even bank is also the trustee. Okay. In the upcoming slide, we will understand what is the meaning of bailee and bailer. Okay. But even when bank acting as a bailee, they are the trustee also, because they are taking care of my article, they are taking care of my money, they are taking care of my whatever the valuable item I have kept there actually. Okay. So in the bailee bailer relationship also, bank will be the trustee. Okay. So understood what is the meaning of trustee actually? Trustee is actually, that is the person who is managing the property of the beneficiary. Beneficiary is what? Beneficiary is having the ultimate control. Okay. They are having the ultimate control over the property. Okay. Now the next is, yes, bailee and bailer. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of bailee and what is the meaning of bailer? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of bailee and what is the meaning of bailer? See, bailee is what actually? Bailee is a person or maybe anyone who temporarily gains the possession but not the ownership. That means bank. Okay. That means bailee is what? The person who is having the temporary possession of the maybe anything, temporary possession, not, right, not the ownership. He is not the owner. Owner is the bailer. Okay. Bank is what? Bank is the bailee. Bailee is what? Bailee is the person who is having the temporary position, not the ownership, right? So this is the difference between the bailee and bailer, right? So bailment is what? Bailment is actually the voluntary delivery of the goods. Okay. Here actually the bailer is what? Customer. I am voluntary my giving the possession of my goods to the bank. Okay. I opened the locker in the bank, or maybe I have kept some item in the safe custody of the bank. Then bank will be the bailee here. Okay. Who is having the, like, dekhbal? They are just taking care of my property. They are just taking care of my item. ठीक है ना? And they are like a trustee also. ठीक है? But I am the bailer. I am the actually owner of my asset. ठीक है? I have handed over my goods or whatever to the bank, to the bailee actually. So bailee is what? A person or maybe a firm or a company who is just having the temporary position, not the ownership. Please remember, they are just the custodian according to the section 148 of Contract Act. they are just the custodian, they are just taking care of security. ठीक है. So bailey is liable for any loss to the bailor due to its negligence. ठीक है ना, they are liable, right? So the finder of lost good should return any increase in goods animal to the true owner. True owner is what? Bailor, that is. ठीक है. So if the goods will be lost, that should be returned to the true owner. Now section 164, that finder has to take care of such goods as an ordinary prudent man. ठीक है. This is the bailey bailor relationship. Suppose I got that valuable item in the bank and I kept with me, so I have to take care of that as a ordinary prudent man, बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति की तरह. ठीक है. But here bank is actually the bailey. They have to whatever loss is there to the bailor, they have to pay, they have to take care. Actually they are the custodian, they are like a custodian of whatever item bailor has given to them. ठीक है ना. So here actually bailey is what? Bailey is just the custodian. ठीक है. Bailey is just the custodian, not the, right, not the owner. Owner is what? Owner is customer who has voluntarily kept their item to the bailey. Understood or any doubt is there? Please tell me the fourth relationship. Have you understood? Tell me the fourth relationship. Clear or not? That is bailey and bailor. So bank is actually the bailey here, ठीक है, but customer is actually the bailor here, right? चलिए. So now going forward, the next relationship is agent principal. ठीक है. Again this is similar like trustee and beneficiary, more similarly like. So here actually according to section 182, the principal is what? Principal is actually, I am the principal here. ठीक है. I have delegated my authority to the other person, that is the agent. Agent is what? Agent is doing work for me. ठीक है. That agent is actually, and he is taking the charges for that services. He is not doing charity and all, right? He is taking the charges of that services. So that person will be the agent and I am the principal. That agent is actually giving these services to me. ठीक है. For example, remittance, collection of check, paying the bill, electricity bill, telephone bill, insurance premium, club fees, all included. ठीक है. So the bank will be acting as an agent for you and principal is the customer. ठीक है. So on relationship of agency, this is the relationship we called it as a agency. ठीक है. Termination on death. Suppose the customer will be dead or insolvent, दिवालिया, or maybe lunatic. ठीक है, like mad. ठीक है. In that case, right, in that case the customer or on completion of the work assigned. ठीक है. So the relationship will be terminated. ठीक है. The relationship will be terminated in case of death, in case of insolvency, in case of lunacy. But the remittance case, if you have already given the instruction, ठीक है, that will be remain. ठीक है. In case of remittance only. But any other relationship, any other work will be assigned to the agent. If I will be dead, I will be insolvent, I will be lunacy means pagalpan. That is like gone mad actually, mentally disturbed, that is. ठीक है. That is a lunacy. So in all the three cases, the relationship will be terminated actually. ठीक है. Now this relationship, that is laser and lazy. ठीक है. This we are going to complete by tomorrow because I have the next class of CIB ABM, ठीक है, at 8 p.m. right. चलिए. So I hope you are getting my point, whatever I'm trying to say. ठीक है. Please give me the feedback also and the rating also, right? If all the things are clear to you, my pace is good, can give me the rating. ठीक है, if any feedback you guys are having, then please give that feedback also. ठीक है, I'll work on that feedback. Right, चलिए, bye bye and take care. From the laser and lazy, we are going to continue by tomorrow. Thank you and bye bye, take care.